name is Jilly Hall. I work for an independent consultancy called SPSN, which is Supporting the People Who Support Nature. I've worked with farmers for all of my life, and as an ex-Samaritan, I've been involved in mental health issues and suicide prevention, and have also worked with some of the key farming charities. We're very fortunate as a research team looking at COVID-19 to have very good levels of trust with many of the farmer support organisations. And I've been interviewing people who have had decades of experience in supporting farmers, and they understand many of the challenges that are facing farmers at the moment, and quite a few of them are actually farmers in their own right. And they have a level of empathy and of understanding which is unsurpassed. But importantly, they're also local and they're embedded, which means that they understand the patterns of need and how need varies across England. And I think this is really helpful for DEFRA policymakers who cannot enjoy such close links to farmers, that they don't have the day-to-day contact. This project has developed out of 2 years of research on how to reach the harder to reach farmers, people who in their farming world are socially isolated and are likely to suffer the most from the impact of COVID-19. Farmers are really resilient, and perhaps in a way they're too resilient, but pressures do build up. And I think worry about the business is cumulative, and it can be a tiny trigger that is the last straw. And what we've noticed is that when things do go snap, it is the complexity of the issues. And charities such as FCN have found that the issues that farmers face have become more complex over the years, and that's absolutely true. So 20 years ago, people would come with maybe 1 or 2 issues. What happens now is that there are so many complex issues woven together that you can't solve one thing because it's dependent on something else. And so charities do need a very wide range of specialisms, whether that's legal, banking, finance, medical people. And it's a bit like the game Kaplunk. You take one bit of plastic out and the whole lot of marbles fall down. It can be awful. Another thing we've learned is the change in the profile of who calls for help. Now, I know that 10 years ago, the caller was typically older, male, smaller. I don't work in upland areas, but they tended to be upland livestock farmers, often a tenant, and really worried about the business. And they were getting older, they can't retire, they haven't got a pension. What do I do next? And what we found is that respondents now are roughly 50-50 male-female. Often they're a younger generation, and young people really have suffered through COVID. The local jobs that they would have, working in a local pub has gone. They can't go to young farmers and meet up face to face. And they are probably better at talking about mental health. They're more literate, but they're also really suffering. And they suffer not only for themselves, but actually for their parents as well. One of the things we learnt about the landscapes of support is how many people there are out there. We ended up with 15 or 16 categories, from breed societies to auction markets to women who work with farmers, to a tanker driver for a dairy farm. He might see the tanker driver every day or every other day. And each offers a small part of the solution, whether it's listening or signposting, walking alongside, talking about mental health issues, suggesting they go to their GP to get support. So each person is part of this network of support. The downside of this growing fluid landscape of support is that there's a limited cake for funding, and there can be feelings of competition between organisations for limited funding. And there are genuine issues, I think, between a very small local initiative and the larger national organisations about who do I raise funds for? Who am I going to help? Where do I send this farmer? Who's the best? And the more that we can network and build relationships and trust between organisations, the more that we can act as one landscape of support.